Many people aren't in pain because they lack chances, they're struggling because they've committed to their own limitations. They nurture their justifications, defend their inertia, and wrap themselves in distractions, then wonder why nothing ever evolves. Isn't it ironic? They say, if only I had more luck, more time, if only people understood me. But life doesn't respond to if only. It responds to resolve, to decisions, to bravery. Weakness rarely appears like a villain in the dark. It slips in like a trusted companion. It says, you've earned a break today, or you've done enough, when deep down, you haven't. It promises, start tomorrow, and soon, that tomorrow becomes next week, then next month, then a year lost. That's how time vanishes, buried under layers of soft lies. Let me tell you what I've discovered. Noise is often confusion in disguise. Excuses are the dialect of the weary soul. They're smooth, believable, and worst of all, they feel valid. But here's the truth. An excuse might soothe you today, but it steals your future. You can't build a new life with excuses as your tools. You build by replacing words with proof. Proof speaks. Excuses repeat. People often say, I didn't have the time, or no one gave me a shot, or maybe I'm not cut out for this. But let me be clear, those phrases won't build anything real. They won't create success, wealth, or integrity. They just keep you cozy in your safety net while your potential dims quietly. When you catch yourself explaining why you didn't, stop. Interrupt the sentence mid-thought and trade it for a step forward. If you're exhausted, act while tired. If you're uncertain, move forward anyway. Movement breeds clarity. Excuses cloud everything. Every time you dodge action with a story, you chip away at the quality of your life slowly, moment by moment, until one day you look in the mirror and barely recognize who's looking back. I remember hearing once, don't wish life were easier, wish you were stronger. That stayed with me. The issue isn't the obstacle, it's the attitude. Yes, life can be tough, but you weren't made to be fragile. You weren't born to break under strain. You were built to stretch, to evolve, to ascend. But for that, you've got to sever every excuse that drags you down, cut them like dead weight, because they sap your strength. Over time, I've realized words earn no respect. Outcomes do. You don't need to persuade anyone that you're serious. Let your transformation be your proof. Walk into a room with growth on your shoulders, and silence becomes your loudest statement. And another thing, don't explain why you failed. Fix it. That's how you gain self-worth. That's how confidence is formed. Excuses might be clever, but results are absolute. One is avoidance, the other is evolution. If you want to destroy the habit of excuses, replace everyone with some form of effort, even the tiniest action. Soon you'll no longer need to say, I'm trying. Your life will testify for you. Excuses are easy, growth is hard, but only one transforms you. There's a quiet trap that crushes more dreams than failure ever could. It's the craving for validation. Don't get me wrong, it's natural to feel good when someone acknowledges your efforts. That's human. But when your sense of worth begins to depend on others' applause, you've handed away your power. You've placed your life's steering wheel into the hands of someone else's opinion, and that's a dangerous ride. If you constantly need someone to say well done just to stay disciplined, you've already lost the inner battle. Why? Because now your progress is tied to their praise instead of your own principles. True rebuilding begins the moment you stop performing for applause. You must grow beyond needing someone to cheer for you. Learn to clap for yourself in private. Celebrate the days you show up even when it's hard, the nights you stay focused, the moments you choose discipline over distraction. Not every victory needs an audience. In truth, the most powerful wins happen in the dark behind doors closed to the world. When you always need affirmation, you become a servant to the mood of others. But when you validate yourself, when you whisper, that was tough, but I handled it, and return to the grind, you reclaim your strength. Look around you. Social media has turned people into performers, flashing progress before it's real, casting their bait for approval. But you don't build resilience by broadcasting. You build it in silence. You don't become stronger by being seen. You become stronger by becoming. And becoming requires inward validation, not outside noise. The most powerful version of yourself doesn't need cheers. He is the cheerleader. He acknowledges his own effort and then keeps moving because he knows results roar louder than compliments. And here's a sobering truth. Many of the people who praise you today will forget you tomorrow. So make sure you're not living for applause that fades. Here's your challenge. The next time you achieve something, no matter how small, don't announce it. Just smile and keep going. That's the muscle that matters. Silent confidence, quiet strength. Learn to approve of yourself. Trust your own scoreboard. Celebrate in solitude, then return to work. That's how you break free from the fragile habit of needing validation. That's how you lay a foundation that doesn't crack when no one claps. Comparison steals your peace and slaughters your momentum. Most people aren't drained because of hard work. They're exhausted from constantly watching someone else's progress. The second you weigh your worth against another's highlight reel, you become a prisoner to illusion. People don't post their failures, their doubts, their sleepless struggles. They post the applause. And if you're not careful, you'll start running a race that was never meant for you. Want to rebuild? Starve comparison. Cut off its oxygen by redirecting your energy inward. The only real competitor is the person you were yesterday. Beat him. That's where focus belongs. Progress doesn't mean catching up to others, it means catching up to your own potential. Don't ask how far ahead they are. Ask how far ahead you could be if you silenced the noise and simply did the work. I've said it before and I'll repeat it, work harder on yourself than on your job. Why? Because your earnings only grow as much as you do. And growth won't happen if your eyes are always on someone else's lane. Look in the mirror, not out the window. Build in silence. Sharpen your mindset. Stretch your discipline. You'll be surprised you'll eventually outgrow those you used to envy. But let's be honest, comparison is a lazy habit. It's easier to scroll through someone's wins than confront your own gaps. It's simpler to be jealous than to rise. But that pattern will bury your greatness in shallow ground. Dig deeper. Confront your delays. Conquer your distractions. That's the only race that counts. The ones who rise, they're not always the most talented, they're the most focused. They understand that progress is personal. They're not busy counting who's ahead, they're busy closing the gap between themselves and their best version, one focused day at a time. And when they finally glance up, they realize they're no longer even in the same league. So end the habit of comparison. Kill it before it kills your motivation. Every time the thought creeps in, they're ahead of me, replace it with, I'm ahead of who I was. That's the only scoreboard that matters. Measure your own progress. Win against your own doubt. That's the path to rebuilding. That's how you rise. Reacting emotionally is a hallmark of an undisciplined mind. It's the tendency to let your feelings dictate your actions, and it tears apart your progress with surgical precision. Every time anger, fear, or frustration takes control, you surrender the steering wheel of your life to chaos. But strong individuals? They don't react, they respond. They don't yell, they calculate. They don't explode over inconvenience, they pause, breathe, and think. Rebuilding begins when you break the cycle of emotional impulsiveness. When something bothers you, when life tests your patience, your first response should be silence. Not the silence that hides rage, but the kind that makes room for clarity. Silence is not weakness, it's power in reserve. In that space, you can reflect. You can ask yourself, how do I want to respond to this? That's where true strength lives, in choosing with intention, not instinct. You don't let your inner storms decide your direction. You stay grounded, thoughtful, composed. The habit of reacting emotionally is deeply embedded, but also surprisingly simple to undo. It starts with awareness. Catch yourself in the act. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this? What is this emotion teaching me? Choose calm. Choose breath. Respond wisely, not loudly. You'll be amazed at how much strength you unlock when you no longer let your emotions rule the moment. Transformation is a habit built through consistent practice. Anyone can be calm when things are easy, but it's the hard moments that reveal your growth. And that's where most people stumble. They don't realize that the ability to stay composed is what separates those who thrive from those who fall apart. Remaining calm in chaos, standing firm in the storm, that's what makes you unshakable. Think about the greatest leaders, the ones who leave a legacy. They aren't the ones throwing tantrums. They're the ones who inhale deeply, weigh the facts, and move with precision. That's how strength is forged. You become solid through restraint. You rebuild by creating a pattern of control. When you stop reacting and start responding, you stop being a puppet to your emotions. You reclaim your power. So next time fury rises, when irritation wants to break through, pause, breathe, choose. Your reaction is yours, and the choice you make today writes the life you'll live tomorrow. Thoughtful response, not emotional noise. That's where strength begins. That's the architecture of self-reinvention. And while we're at it, let's talk about gossip. Talking about others is a distraction disguised as entertainment. It feels like connection, but it drains your purpose. Gossip is the habit of the unfocused. It steals your attention from your own journey. It pollutes your clarity with noise that contributes nothing to your growth. If you want to rebuild, you must replace this with discipline and drive. Real strength is quiet. It's built when you direct your energy towards something meaningful. When you stop speaking about others and start working on yourself, your goals, your dreams, you'll find a new level of fulfillment. Work in silence. Let your outcomes do the speaking. That's not just a catchy saying, it's a philosophy of legacy. Those who build don't waste energy on chatter. They trust that results will make the noise in due time. When your focus is sharp, you don't have time to be distracted. You're too busy improving, learning, achieving. Cut off the weak habit of idle talk. Every time you catch yourself discussing someone else's path, remember you could be walking further on your own. And when you do work in silence, the world will notice, not because you shouted, but because your presence will speak volumes. You don't need to announce it, you just need to do it. Let your grind, your habits, your effort do the talking. The more focused you become, the less you'll need to explain. Discipline becomes your loudest voice, showing up daily, even when no one's watching. Replace gossip with grind. Let each day be a brick in the life you're constructing. Master the art of silence. Let your legacy be louder than any words could ever be. Stay locked in. Focus on your evolution. Let success echo through the discipline you've built. Mental laziness is the silent destroyer of dreams. It's the habit of letting your mind drift, avoiding depth, dodging challenge. Just like the body, the mind atrophies without effort. If you don't train it, it softens, slows, and succumbs to distraction. The distance between mediocrity and excellence often begins with one critical question. Are you exercising your mind? Your mind needs daily discipline, just like an athlete needs a training schedule. You wouldn't expect to run a marathon without first building your stamina, strength, and grit. The same principle applies to your thoughts. Want to build a life of depth and success? Develop mental power. It doesn't come by luck, it comes from habit. Start by reading. Great minds don't remain idle, they devour ideas, question assumptions, absorb knowledge. Reading expands your perspective, challenges your beliefs, and sharpens your intellect like a blade against steel. But don't stop at information, reflect. Ask yourself how it applies. Write. Record your ideas, your doubts, your breakthroughs. This isn't just journaling, it's mental training. It keeps your thoughts organized and your awareness alive. Thinking is a skill, and like all skills, it demands practice. You must push your mind beyond its comfort zone. If you leave it in neutral, it drifts toward weakness. Move it with intention. Formal education may give you a living, but self-education, that's what builds a fortune. That's not a slogan, it's a truth. School teaches you to serve systems. Self-learning teaches you to lead, solve, and create. That's where real value lives. Weak thoughts create weak lives. Lazy thinking shows up in bad choices, poor habits, and missed chances. You must work harder on your mind than on your paycheck. Because a mind that's disciplined, trained, and alert creates possibilities. It sees opportunities others miss. It doesn't rely on luck, it makes its own. Stop letting your mind wander into passivity. Strengthen it, stretch it, feed it with wisdom and intention. Just as an athlete runs laps, you must run thoughts, test them, refine them. Never give up on your mind. Make it your most powerful tool. Because a powerful mind can conquer any challenge and shape any life. And remember this, the moment you stop blaming others is the moment you take true ownership of your life. If you're looking for someone to fault, you're only looking for a way to stay small. Your results, whether glory or failure, are the outcome of your choices. Accept that, and you unlock transformation. Rebuilding starts with responsibility. You can't always control your environment, the seasons, or other people's actions, but you can always control your response. That's power. That's freedom. The wind may shift, but you decide how to sail. Stop being a victim of your situation. Quit waiting for something to change. Stop justifying failure. Own your results. All of them. Then and only then can you change them. Don't blame your past, your tools, or your surroundings. Blame is a thief. It steals your potential by convincing you that you're helpless. But you are not helpless. Look around and then look within. Ask yourself, what can I do to change this? The answer is always within reach, but you won't see it if you're too busy pointing fingers. When you let go of blame, you reclaim power. You stop being weak. You become the builder of your own world. Take responsibility without flinching. Own your mistakes. Own your wins. Own your path. That's the foundation of greatness. That's how you reconstruct the life you were always meant to live. Stop scrolling. Stop binge watching. Stop numbing your mind with the endless flood of distractions. The world offers you entertainment in 1,000 forms. Movies, reels, gossip, fast pleasures, but none of it builds your future. It only consumes your time. If you're serious about rebuilding yourself, you must replace the habit of consumption with the habit of creation and mastery. Weakness thrives on endless consumption. It's the comfort zone of the unfocused, the ones who let the world decide how they spend their energy. But strength? Strength is quiet, intentional, and productive. Strong people don't waste their hours on what doesn't matter. They create, they move, they build. They focus their energy where it counts on their goals. If you want to be one of them, you must protect your time like it's sacred, because it is. Every hour wasted on mindless input is a block removed from the foundation you could be laying. Ask yourself regularly, is this adding value to my life? If the answer is no, walk away. Your habits today are shaping who you'll be tomorrow. So what are your habits saying about you? Are they pulling you forward or holding you hostage? Are they helping you grow or just keeping you busy? The truth is, the more you consume, the less you create, and creation is where fulfillment lives. That's where mastery takes root. Mastery doesn't come from entertainment. It comes from choosing the difficult path, the one of focus, repetition, and quiet development. Write, build, plan, reflect. These small, silent actions are the bricks of a meaningful life. Stop numbing your ambition. Stop escaping your own greatness. Pick up a book instead of your phone. Put pen to paper instead of another hour of empty watching. Begin a project instead of another distraction. Start something that stretches you, deepens you, sharpens you. Choose creation over consumption. That doesn't mean you can't enjoy life. It means you stop letting enjoyment own you. Every time you choose distraction over discipline, you weaken your edge. But when you say no to what's easy and yes to what's meaningful, you take your power back. Guard your inputs. What you consume becomes who you are. Feed your spirit with what inspires, educates, and elevates. Because if you consume trash, your thoughts will become clutter. But if you consume wisdom, clarity, and strength, those will shape your life. Build, write, design, move. Every act of creation adds something to your future. So protect your mind, protect your focus, protect your time, because your future is being written in this very moment by the decisions you make. Overconsumption is the habit of the uncommitted. Break that cycle. Choose the path of creation. That's where lasting strength is found. You rebuild not by waiting for a big breakthrough, but by showing up consistently. Brick by brick. The world tells you to chase energy bursts, to sprint, to hype yourself into motivation. But that's not how success is built. Success is constructed on the unshakable foundation of consistency. The second you let inconsistency creep in, you weaken your momentum. You stop growing. You start slipping. Success isn't about one big day. It's about 1,000 small ones stacked with purpose. That's what creates real change. The strongest people aren't always the most talented. They're the most consistent. They don't rely on how they feel. They rely on what they've committed to. They show up tired, discouraged, uncertain, and still do the work. Because they know that excellence isn't a feeling, it's a decision. Think of a master craftsman. He doesn't rush his work. He returns each day, sharpens his tools, and builds with care. He trusts the process. He knows the results will come. Now contrast that with a tourist, someone chasing quick thrills, skipping steps, rushing for outcomes. The tourist doesn't build anything lasting. The craftsman does. So ask yourself, are you crafting your life or just sightseeing through it? Rebuilding yourself means becoming the craftsman. You don't chase results, you earn them. Not in flashes of effort, but in the quiet repetition of showing up, even when it's inconvenient. The weak habit of inconsistency is subtle. It hides in skipped workouts, in snoozed alarms, in goals pushed to tomorrow. But every time you break a promise to yourself, you chip away at your own foundation. The only way to defeat inconsistency is to make your habits non-negotiable. You don't debate whether to do them, you do them. It's not about mood, it's about mission. You don't wait for perfect conditions, you create progress with what you have. Success doesn't respond to emotions. It responds to discipline. It rewards those who keep showing up when it's hard, when no one's watching, when quitting would be easy. Your goals are not suggestions, they are commitments. And if you treat them like options, you'll never get far. Rebuilding yourself requires structure. Build rituals into your mornings. Anchor your actions into your evenings. Let every piece of your day support the life you're creating. Think of your life like a temple. Each small, deliberate action is a brick. Each moment of discipline is the mortar, and day by day the structure grows stronger, not because of luck, not because of hype, but because of consistency. This is how greatness is built, not in the spotlight, not on stage, but in the dim, repetitive, quiet hours where no one's cheering. You do the work anyway. You trust the process. You repeat the rituals, and slowly you become what you've committed to. If you want to be solid, if you want to be unbreakable, build your life on non-negotiables. No more treating discipline like a preference. Make it law. Build like the craftsman, precise, patient, present. Don't skip steps. Don't rush. Let time be your ally. Every consistent act is a vote for the future you're shaping. Every time you show up when it's hard, you cast a vote for the version of yourself you're becoming. Stack those votes. Stack them until they outweigh the excuses, the fears, the distractions. That's how you build resilience. That's how you rebuild your identity. It's not about dramatic change. It's about small daily proof that says, I'm committed. And here's what you'll discover. When you focus on yourself and move in silence, the world can't touch your peace. Not because things become easy, but because you become solid. The world is noisy, filled with trends, voices, chaos trying to pull you in 1,000 directions. But that noise, it's a trap. The weak chase noise. They think they need to be everywhere, seen by everyone, reacting to everything. But real progress? It's born in silence. Silence is not emptiness, it's clarity. It's focus. It's space to think, to build, to breathe. Silence gives you power. The kind of power that grows roots, that holds steady while others chase clout. When you're quiet, you can hear your own voice. You can recognize what matters. You stop reacting and start creating. While the world scrambles to be noticed, the strong are mastering their craft. They're not screaming for attention. They're earning legacy through action. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be, and that bridge is built in silence. Chasing noise is weakness. It's reaching outside for validation instead of reaching within for meaning. When you're constantly trying to be seen, liked, or praised, you're spending energy that should be invested in building yourself. Every second you chase applause is a second you're not sharpening your skill, improving your mindset, or deepening your focus. Rebuilding yourself requires silence, not isolation, but intentional quiet. It's about clarity. It's about eliminating what's unnecessary and immersing yourself in what matters. Choosing your priorities instead of letting the world choose them for you. In that quiet, you find the space to think, to plan, to act with precision. Silence is where deep work lives. It's where strategies are born, visions are refined, and results begin to form. When you eliminate noise, you increase focus. Your thoughts gain weight, your actions gain depth, your results gain strength. The world won't stop being loud. But your success doesn't require its permission. Your greatness isn't dependent on the world's attention. It's dependent on your ability to block it out and go inward. This is the power of silence. It centers you. It steadies you. It strips away distractions and tunes you into purpose. When you stop chasing noise, you stop living for reaction. You start building for results. Because noise fades, but what you create in silence lasts. So rebuild yourself in the quiet. Let your mornings be grounded. Let your days be structured. Let your work speak in time. Don't announce your every step. Just take the steps. Don't explain your goals. Just reach them. Don't beg to be seen. Become undeniable. Let the world get louder. Let the trends come and go. But you stay locked in. You stay focused. You stay building in silence, with purpose, with discipline. And one day when the noise fades, all that will remain is the quiet power of who you've become. The legacy you've built brick by brick. The results that speak louder than anything you ever had to say. This is how you rebuild. This is how you rise, quietly, steadily, relentlessly,